Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the video. So I just want to let you guys know that I do have a lot of videos planned. I've been going through all the panels and I've been gathering up a lot of information, and this isn't even just on like Fear the Walking Dead and World Beyond. That's going to be separate stuff because we actually do have some pretty interesting news there that I do want to talk about because I think it's going to be really big for World Beyond especially, and the Rick Grimes movie. But more than that, we learned a lot of stuff about season 11. There's a lot of interesting things that the writers or producers or some cast members, I can't remember exactly who said it, but actually I think it was Kirkman who said it, but he teased some stuff from season 11 that no one else has really talked about. And just from what he mentioned, it's really exciting. By the way, I am going to leave links to all the panels and stuff down below, or whatever is relevant to the video. So in this one here, since I am going to be talking about Andrew Lincoln, Rick Grimes, and everything that we learned about the Rick Grimes movie, which really wasn't a lot, but we did get some comments on it. So I gathered up everything, and we'll talk about all of that in here. I also have a season 11 video coming out, and then I also have a Walking Dead season 10 finale panel recap, which was very, very interesting and a lot of fun to do. I'm just working straight and doing all of this, so whenever they come out, they'll come out. They'll be out within the next 24 hours. I know a lot of you guys want more content because you guys are sad that the panels are all over and stuff, so you want to talk about more of this, and so that's why I'm working really hard to try and get all of them out as fast as I can. But the Fear the Walking Dead and the World Beyond panel stuff will probably be out tomorrow just because that's, I mean, there's only so much time in the day, right? So let's talk about Andrew Lincoln's return, or I guess his return as Rick Grimes, and all the new information that we learned today. I mean, I guess it's not like new information, but we did learn some things here, and most of it was from Kirkman. On the Walking Dead panel, we never actually learned that much. They didn't really talk about Andrew Lincoln that much. I don't even remember if they even mentioned his name. I don't think they talked about Rick at all. But on Kirkman, he did his whole panel, and basically it was just a Q&A where a lot of fans asked him a bunch of questions about, I guess, Skybound related titles, right? Like The Walking Dead, or even the Walking Dead movies, but also like Invincible, which we do have new casting for that series. And that's a series that I most likely will cover on the channel because there's like, I think like 5 to 10 members of The Walking Dead on there. Like, I'm not even kidding. They announced Stephen Yeun and Kari Payton already, but we're going to have Lenny James, Lauren Cohen, Ross Marquand. There's a bunch of other people too. I would think Michael Cudlitz. There's a lot of people who are going to be voices on that show. So it's like a Walking Dead show, basically, in my opinion. Like, I'm going to review that on the channel. It might just be one video on the entire season. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm definitely really hyped for that. Kirkman was asked a lot of questions, and so I really went through the entire panel. And the one thing he did say about Andrew Lincoln is that, like, he was asked, can Andrew Lincoln ever return to the show? And his response was, well, he doesn't really think so, because Andrew Lincoln at this point, I mean, he kind of had his exit and he's moved on to movies now, which I think also makes sense. I think at this point they don't really know. Obviously, I think Kirkman or say Gimple, Angela Kang, all of them would love if Andrew Lincoln returned to The Walking Dead, but I really don't see it happening. And I think if it does happen at all, it's going to be in the very final episode, or maybe final season if they can do that, or last couple of episodes of that season, you know? Like, I don't think it's going to be a, I mean, they have to have the reunion, right? So they have to do that. It's just, how are they going to do the reunion? Is it going to be in the movies, like the third movie, second movie, or whatever? Or is it going to be on the show? I think it should be on the show to just bookend the entire show, to have the Walking Dead family back together, to have all of that. I think it should be in more than just one episode, because that's so much to get done in one episode. Maybe like the last half of a season, right? But it depends on where The Walking Dead is at that point. And so I don't know what's going to happen there. But basically he just said, yeah, you know, he's kind of moved on. He's had his arc, and now he's on to doing movies now, which also relates to something else that he did talk about the Rick Grimes movies in general. Well, not the Rick Grimes movies, sorry, but like the Rick Grimes, or I guess the Grimes family story in general in The Walking Dead. He was asked if the Grimes family was still a central focus of The Walking Dead, if that's gonna, you know, like if it's a central focus of the show and stuff. And he said that the Grimes family really isn't. It's kind of moved past that already on the show. That obviously the Grimes family is a huge part of The Walking Dead, but, you know, after Carl died, and then I guess, you know, and this is just me interpreting it, but I think that's why Rick left. I think it's because Carl died, and that really was the end for Andrew Lincoln, because he was like, there's kind of no point in me going on now, because that was Rick's story. And I do like that too. I wish he was still on the show, but definitely Carl dying, it was such a, what could Rick do more on the show? Obviously, he still has Judith and now eventually RJ, but like it just taking the entire series as a whole, Carl was his main motivator throughout the entire series. And so if you're doing Judith and RJ now, you're just kind of doing the same exact thing for however long. And so I think Carl's death for Andrew Lincoln, to not have Chandler Riggs on set anymore for him, it was just like, you know, like my TV show son is gone. My, you know, I don't know what to do with Rick anymore, really. And I think that was his time to leave. And Kirkman did say as well, though, that the Grimes family, you know, was and is the central focus of the Walking Dead comics, or I guess was because it's over now, which obviously makes sense. If you've read the comics, that is why that story is so powerful. I'm not saying the show story isn't as powerful. Obviously, the Grimes family story is very powerful. We did get an ending to it in the comics, and in the show universe, because there's movies now, we haven't got that ending yet. And I hope we do. I hope it's done really well. And like, just in my opinion, I really want it to be done in the show, not in the movies. We can have these movies, they can do amazing things with them, but I want that closure on the show because that's where we started watching The Walking Dead. Now, he did talk about the Rick Grimes movies. He did say that he's very, very involved with working on these movies. Like, he even said, first of all, he said he's talking to Andrew Lincoln quite frequently. So that's awesome. So I'm sure that whatever stuff they're coming up with, Andrew Lincoln is involved and he knows what's going on. And that's what's so amazing. If you could just be a fly in the wall in any of those conversations, like Andrew Lincoln probably knows a lot about this movie and what's going to happen with Rick. And I'm sure Kirkman knows as well. Gimple knows. I mean, and I'm sure Angela Kang might know. Like, just to be, I mean, like I said, like a fly on the wall, just to know what it is. Like, you know, like that's something for me that it's so hard waiting for news with this movie. I just want to know anything, because that's the thing too. What Kirkman did say is that this movie is going to be very epic, and they're really working hard on this because it has to service Andrew Lincoln and the monumental moment of Rick Grimes' return. Like, I'm just saying, I'm not quoting him or anything. Like, when Rick Grimes does return to the screen and Andrew Lincoln is, you know, I guess for filming, when he arrives for the first day on set, he's reprising Rick Grimes. It's going to be a big moment. I don't know what it is about Andrew Lincoln. He's just, I mean, I guess it's because he's the main character of The Walking Dead, but like there's Norman Reedus, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, there's all these great, amazing actors and stuff, but it's like Andrew Lincoln's just like elite. Like he's on top of everyone because it's his show, right? Like he's Rick fucking Grimes. It's, you know, and so when he does return, it's going to be a monumental moment. When we first watch that trailer, I don't think the trailer's coming out next year. It'll probably be in 2 years from now, which does suck. It could be sooner than that. I'm not saying it's going to be like in a year from now. They don't have to release it at Comic-Con. It could be out, say, in October of 2021 when Season 11 comes out, or at least I'm assuming when Season 11 is going to come out. There won't be a trailer this year, that's for sure, because they haven't filmed anything. They could start filming next spring, next summer, or whatever, and yeah, they could put a little teaser, trailer, or something out at some point then. So the moment, though, like when he does appear on screen, when we're sitting in the movie theater, and we see it, it's going to be a huge moment that I think that I wish there was a way for me to film my reaction or something like that, you know, because it's going to be something that I'm sure all of you guys are picturing that too, right? What it's going to be like to see Rick Grimes on screen again. And when it happens, it's going to be like, because I'm sure it's going to come out in 2022 or 23, around there, probably 22, I'm thinking. Or yeah, 22, 23. And by that time, it'll have been 4 or 5 years since we last seen Rick. And also on that, about the news, Kirkman did say that the pandemic and everything is kind of the reason why there hasn't been any news or no news at all surrounding the movie. Everything's been delayed a lot, and so they can't really talk that much about the movie because obviously there was a delay in production and stuff. And I do, because everything was basically shut down in March, and so it's July now. It's been, what, 4 months? I guess March, if you're including March, April, May, June, July. So it's 5 full months almost. Was 4 months ago, whatever. But that's a huge delay. And I'm sure there isn't any delay in terms of writing and stuff like that. That is a delay in terms of production things. And I'm sure if they did want to film this year, and it seemed like that was probably the plan, that they were supposed to film this year, or at least get ready to start filming at some point this year. Like things were in motion for that to start happening this year, but it's been delayed. And even if that wasn't going to happen this year, you know it was going to happen next year. And so maybe that was delayed a little bit. Like in general, it does really suck. But as for when we can expect some news, realistically, I'm kind of just viewing it as next year at Comic-Con. So in a year from now, we will learn some more news. Like for sure, we're going to learn some news. Until then, this next year, I don't really know. To be honest, like I've always thought that they would announce new stuff at like certain things, like, oh, there's a finale here, so they'll announce something then. I think this next year, we're getting some Walking Dead content. We're getting the finale, we're getting an additional 6 episodes for season 10. We're getting The Walking Dead World Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead. They might announce some more stuff at some point, but I really think at Comic-Con next year, we'll get some kind of Rick Grimes announcement, and I think it's probably going to be a release date, director news, casting news, and stuff like that. Could be a teaser, but I'm not expecting that. I think that will be the reveal then. We could get that sooner, for sure, but I'm just thinking realistically that, in my opinion, just because of how long, or just based off how long we've had to wait, that's probably when we'll learn more news. And it does suck. Waiting for the news for this movie really does suck, but at least we're going somewhere. Things definitely are going places right now, or the movie's going places. It's just kind of... And so that's everything we had to learn about the Rick Grimes movie. Kirkman is talking to Andrew Lincoln quite frequently. He's very, very involved. Like, Kirkman's very involved. I'm sure Andrew Lincoln's very involved in the actual, like, making of the movie. Yeah, just all the other little things I added in there about, you know, just Andrew Lincoln or Rick Grimes mentions in general from Comic-Con. So I wish we got some more news, but I mean, we got something. Obviously, they were going to talk about it, right? So post your thoughts down below. When do you think we're going to learn some more Rick Grimes movie news? Remember, if you want more Walking Dead content like this, make sure to be a subscriber, and I'll see you guys in the next one.